JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 19th of November 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just to just before we continue, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, check us out here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top, guys. So I hope you can hear me and see me well. It seems like I'm having a few issues here with the streaming, so just a quick check if everything's fine. I mean, if you can see me and hear me, okay, because like I said, yeah, there we go. So okay, also, first of all, everybody, good morning to Evu. Weekend is closed for sure, and yeah, Vendetta, yep, Nasdaq. Okay, I'll throw that one into here as well. Just bear with me one moment. Okay, so anyway, let's start off. So Nikkei again, to be honest, same story, the same picture, the same outlook. The fact that this upside support line continues to provide a hold up, that's good news for the buyers, of course. But as I said before, as I was mentioning this week, that I would like to see a push above, at least above this barrier, and I would like to see the daily candle staying above that barrier, above that 29,880, in order to go for some higher levels. Well, I mean, so far we're just stuck here in between these two levels, the upside line and this barrier here. So yeah, that means for me, bear with me one moment so I can see. Can you see my charts? I mean, you can see, we can't see you, but what's your charts? Okay, sorry. Okay, that's fine. I'm talking always about my charts. I mean, anyway. So yeah, coming back to this, looking at this picture, yes, for now, like I said, it's although it's looking quite positive. I mean, we might be forming here a nice possible ascending triangle pattern, and according to all the TA rules, these tend to break to the upside. However, until we get that break, we can't really get comfortable with that idea. So that's why we just wait. We wait, and unfortunately, yep, that's part of trading. So yeah, let's keep an eye on it. Let's keep an eye on that 29,880 zone. After that, of course, the next target is the psychological 30 territory. But if that gets cleared, well, we could continue aiming higher. But for now, let's be very careful. For the downside, pretty straightforward as well. A break of this upside line is needed, and also a drop below that 29,402, 400 level, approximately around here, is required. Update on the Shanghai Composite, and look at this. I mean, beautiful move. And I kept on saying, guys, that keep your eyes on this highlighted territory, this 3,515. It was acting as a strong area of support. Yep, what I was also saying, that keep your eyes on this 3,553 territory, because if it pushes above it and stays above it, then that's where potentially more buyers could join in. Now, let's see if that's going to be the case. For now, I'm going to be leaning a little bit more towards the upside on this one. My next target will be this 3,615 territory, but as I said, I'll continue aiming higher if the body of the daily candle remains above that 3,553 territory, at least. I mean, and then yeah, we'll take it from there. Of course, some of you might say that maybe this has been a formation of a nice little inverted head and shoulders pattern here, with the neckline being broken here. So yep, could be the case as well. But again, let's wait and see how it's gonna end today. We still have around 50 something minutes left of trading here, so yeah, let's keep on monitoring this one. DAX drifted lower yesterday, pushed away. I mean, it created a new all-time high, hit an area here near the 16,290 zone, and then kind of started reversing back down. So if we're looking for some upside, let me just bear with me. Click on the check on the cash index there. Okay, so if we're looking for some upside, of course, a push above that 16,290 territory is needed. And if we take a look at a cash index right now, well, that's exactly where we are. We're just fractionally above that 16,290 territory, and well, of course, obviously, this means that the index is going for a higher high. The next target is the not psychological, but a nice round number, kind of a round number, 16,300. For now, I mean, and then of course the sky's the limit for this one. It could continue traveling higher. Maybe the 16,500 could be a nice area. We can only just try to guess. Of course, another thing that you can try to do is maybe draw a Fibonacci extension here. Excuse me. So maybe something like this here could be possible. As you can see, that we have the index got halted around that 78.6% extension on the Fibonacci, or should I say 78.6% on the Fibonacci extension. There we go. That's the a little bit better phrase here. So the next target might be somewhere, like I said, near this 100%, near the 16,459.60 territory, approximately around there. It's not exactly here, but approximately around there. So as I said, maybe that 16,500 level could be ideal as well. But again, I'll continue aiming for the upside if we stay above that 16,290 territory, because if we first push above it, but then at the end of the day we reverse back down and close below it, then well, maybe not all would be good here in the bull block, and maybe a bit of a corrective move lower could be possible. However, let's not rush into anything. Let's continue monitoring the price action and stick to some of the levels. Now, the S&P 500 very quickly. So, Dow was in the red, S&P was kind of on the modest side, and then Nasdaq was in positive territory, and well, actually went for a new all-time high, but I'll get to that in a bit. So here, obviously, the situation is still positive. We're looking at this barrier, the current all-time high near the 4,718 zone. So a nice good pop above it may open the door towards higher levels. And if we just look at the cash index right now, I think, yeah, we are above that already. So we're above that barrier, and yeah, this might continue pushing further north. Of course, the next target could be somewhere around that 4,750 zone. So let's see how that's going to play out, of course. But I will say this way, that as long as it stays above this 4,718 zone, yes, I'm going to continue aiming higher. For me to aim for the downside now, as you can see, previously I had this upside line drawn here, but that got violated. We can draw this another tentative upside line here just for the sake of it. I mean, don't really focus on it too much, because, again, this is it's very tentative, so I'd rather stick to some of the levels here. And for me, maybe the in order to consider the downside, maybe a drop below this 4,673 territory would be needed. And then yes, yeah, lower levels could be met. So let's keep an eye on this one. I'm not going to drag this one way too much to the downside. So basically, if it falls below this 4,673 territory, which is yesterday's low, I'll aim for this level here, the low of the 10th of November near the 4,630 zone, marked near the 21-day EMA. And then yes, we will take it from there, because I don't want to, let's say, aim lower, because I just want to see if this is not going to end up being something like a maybe a range here for quite a while. But again, let's maybe it's me getting ahead of myself a little bit here, so let's just keep an eye on it. Now Nasdaq 100 very quickly. So of course a new all-time high. It pushed above this previous all-time high near the 16,454. The cash index, I think, yeah, it's also on the higher side, so we're trading it somewhere around that 16,507 zone. So yeah, everything's looking quite positive here for this index. And in a way, I mean, at the moment, I would say yes, the same story as with the other ones. If it stays above that 16,454 territory, I'll continue aiming higher. For the downside, I would need to see a break of this upside line here, the tentative upside line taken from the low of the 10th of November, and then yes, we could go for some lower levels. Now jumping into Dxy, the dollar index, and yeah, looking at this, it's quite interesting. I mean, it fell below this 95.72 territory, approximately around here, and this is what I said, that if it falls below it, then maybe this could lead to some lower levels. However, I would rather stick to maybe neutrality here. Yeah, Vendetta, yep, no problem. I hope that helped. So yeah, I'm gonna stick to a bit of neutral kind of neutrality here, because again, in order, let's say, to consider maybe a larger correction here to the downside, maybe a drop below that 94.97 territory would be needed. Yeah, if it drops below this, then, well, then it may first of all end up testing this 21-day EMA. But if that fails to provide support this time, because as you can see in the recent past it did so, if it fails, then yep, lower levels could be met. Jumping into, in terms of the upside, guys, I'm not really, let's say, examining any higher levels until we get a pop above that 96.24 territory right here, which is the current highest point of November. Now gold. So we're stuck. We're a little bit moving sideways here, but to be honest, the same analysis remains valid, because what I said to you yesterday, that I need to see a pop above this 1877 territory in order to go for some higher levels. For the downside, I would need to see a drop somewhere. Well, initially I'll start looking at some lower levels if we drop below this 1849 or 50 zone, but if we continue falling and fall below this 1834 territory, which acted as a fantastic area of resistance back in July and September, if this time it let's say breaks, then, well, we could see a larger correction here to the downside. Now jumping into WTI oil. Okay, so so far this downside line is doing its job. So this is what I talked about yesterday. It's still providing resistance. And basically, looking at this picture, I mean, as long as it stays below this downside line, I'll continue aiming to the downside. If it pops above it, maybe the last kind of option for the bears to step in could be somewhere near this 21-day EMA. But if that gets broken and we see the price rising above it, then, well, I'm going to aim for slightly higher levels again. Our oscillators are showing negative price momentum, so apart from, yeah, I mean, yeah, so it's already in the negative zone. So for MACD, so yeah, for now it's showing increasing downside speed. So let's see if this is correct or not. But again, for now, long story short, we will continue aiming lower if it remains below this downside line. Now jumping into Ethereum very quickly, so Ethereum is drifting to the downside here, so far, I mean, it's not really looking quite positive, I would say. Of course, the crypto enthusiasts will say to me that this is a perfect opportunity to buy, but again, you know, you always buy on every pullback, but still I would say there is a bit of room left for a move lower, just because from the technical side we do have this upside support line taken from the low of the 20th of July of this year. So in a way it could still drift lower, it could continue sliding, and maybe if this upside line does provide support, then maybe a nice little rebound here could be possible. Now another thing maybe to keep in mind here, and let me just check if that's going to work out or not, but basically here, no, it's not. I thought this could be a nice little rising channel here, but yeah, it's not the case here. So, but at least we have considered that. Now, as I said, for now I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside, especially if it also falls below this key support zone near the 3,887 level. AUD and ZD, guys. So here, I mean, one of my favorite pairs, and I kept on talking for this one for almost a month now. Basically, yes, so far so good. I mean, this falling channel is working out nicely, so we'll continue considering it. We fell all the way to this 1.0330, actually, yes, 1.0330 level, and this is what I aimed for, and this is what I said, that if this upper side of the falling channel provides resistance, then yes, a nice good drop here could be possible. Now, we did get that drop. We did get a nice good resistance here. We got that drop, and we pushed further south, where we are now getting a little hold up near this hurdle. There's this 1.0330. Now, although we had broken it just a little bit here, to be honest, I'll be very careful here for now, just because, again, maybe a nice little rebound here could be possible. That said, I would say I'm still leaning a little bit more towards the downside on this one. My next target, ideally, of course, in the ideal scenario, is to see a break of this 1.0330 territory and aim for that 1.0280 level right here, marked by the lowest point of September. So, long story short, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside, but for now, I'm going to wait here because, again, maybe we'll see a bit of a rebound or something like that. But if it starts falling again below this 1.0330 territory, I will aim for the downside. Quick update on AUD USD, and for this, let me get rid of all the lines. I mean, I need to start fresh on this one because way too many. First of all, of course, the big one here, the downside resistance line, which could be drawn this way. I mean, it's not an ideal one, to be honest. It's a bit of a tentative, but nevertheless, I'll keep that for now. This downside line taken from the high of the 25th of February of this year. Now, of course, everybody's now looking at the other one, this one right here, taken from the low of the 20th of August, and there we go. Boom. We have a nice little hold up here, and that's the reason why I was said also with the AUD and ZD that let's keep an eye on this hurdle. I mean, let's see if this is not going to end up kind of being a bit of support for AUD, and let's say looking at this, we can see that everything's kind of lining up here for AUD, maybe for a little rebound. However, let's not rush into anything. Let's first, for this, for example, pair, of course, we'll keep an eye on DXY. If that continues to slide somehow, because as I mentioned to you, that this is for me a little bit of a neutral territory, and maybe it could continue sliding, but if it stays below this 95.72 territory, yes, it might continue sliding, or should I say not sliding, but correcting lower, and this is where AUD USD could come in, where the bulls could come in here and push this one higher. However, from the technical side, I would rather maybe stick to this little downside line, and just to be a little bit more on the safe side, and a nice good break above it may lead the pair back to these EMAs, one of these EMAs, where the first one, of course, is the 21-day EMA. Now, US dollar against the Turkish lira and Okay, so talk about madness a little bit. So yesterday, if you are following the news, then Turkey again, the central bank of Turkey again cut its rate, as they say, in order to maintain inflation. But again, that doesn't really work well. Yes, we're seeing a bit of a retracement right now. However, that's not kind of I think that these are buyers just covering their profits, taking their profits, and yep, that's what we're seeing right now. So we're seeing that little retracement. Can it go a little bit lower? Again, this is a bit of a difficult one with this one, to be honest, because it has been on a one-way traffic here, and even if we draw something like this, for example, then yes, the 23.6% retracement can come somewhere near this area, near this 10.57 territory, somewhere around here. It would be quite interesting to see, of course, a retracement, but again, let's be very careful for now with this one, because it might, bring in some sort of surprises. USD Cad now, looking at this picture here, yes, the pair did try to move higher, and moved above this 1.2605 territory again, but failed to stay above it. So now we're seeing a bit of a retracement here. So to be honest, everything's still quite healthy, and if we do retrace lower, I mean, still there is possibility for the bulls to step in. However, looking at this picture, I can see how important this level is becoming. That's why I would like to see the body of the daily candle staying at least above this barrier, and then we could go for some higher levels. GBP JPY, so very quickly on this one, and yep, we are retracing higher, and yep, for now I'm gonna keep an eye on this one, because yes, I'm gonna continue aiming higher, and I'm gonna keep an eye on this downside line taken from the high of the 21st of October. But of course, yes, if this downside line does provide resistance, another slide could be possible, so we'll keep that in mind. Also, we'll keep an eye on the whole kind of situation in the equity markets, because if suddenly those start dropping, maybe yes, everybody will start jumping. Not everybody, some will start jumping into the yen, and this way kind of increasing the the kind of the interest for yen. So, and this is where maybe this pair might suffer. So again, be very careful for now. Like I said, long story short, if we're looking for some upside, let's say maybe more of a medium-term upside, then at least a break of this downside line is needed. Yep, I'm gonna just let me actually remove this. I cannot see it. And for the let's say upside, if you're looking for a level, not this one, I think somewhere around here might be okay. So 155.15, 13 level approximately around here might come in handy. Euro Cad, so this one's a mess again. I mean, let me remove, actually no, I'm not going to remove, but I'm just going to reuse one of these lines here. So we dropped lower this week. We found support near the 1.4177 level. We rebounded from it, got back above this 1.4294 level here, and we're currently staying above it. So looking at this picture, I'm kind of leaning a little bit, well, of course, emotionally, I would say I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside. However, we still don't have that clear indication here, and yes, certain criteria still has to be met. So, for example, a break of this tentative downside line, actually not very tentative anymore, because we had a hold up yesterday. So, a break of this downside line and a push above this 21-day EMA would be needed. And then just to be a little bit more on the safe side, a push above this 1.4442 territory, the one that I spoke about previously, would be needed as well. So yeah, for now, long story short, I'm cautiously bearish on this one. But for me to get bearish again, or say more bearish, I would need to see a drop below this 1.41, this level right here, this 1.4177, because this way the pair would confirm a forthcoming lower low. But given that we're very close to this downside line now, I mean, we're increasing the chances for a possible break. So let's see how that's going to play out, guys. EURUSD. So, nice little rebound. So, this is what I talked about yesterday, if you remember, and I said that I'm going to keep an eye on that at the time of running the video. I mean, the high was here, and I said that if we pop above it, then well, I'll aim for the upside. And we did pop above it, and well, I did aim for the upside. For now, although I'm saying that maybe some bulls would try to step in here, but we might see a bit of a retracement. So I would say it this way: if it stays above this inside swing high of the the 17th of November and stays above this 1.1332 level, then yes, we could maybe consider a bit of a retracement here back to the upside. But if it starts falling back below it, I'll take a neutral stand, and for me to aim for the downside lower levels, then well, a drop below this 1.1255 territory right here would be needed, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, because again, this area did prove to be quite an interesting one for the buyers, because they held the pair from moving lower below it, and yep, this is where we're seeing now a little rebound. So yeah, keep your eyes on down. But as I said, long story short, if it stays somewhere above this inside swing high of near the 1.1332 level, there could be a nice little reversal here and back to the upside. But if it starts falling below it, I'll take a neutral stand. If it falls below the 1.1255, I'll go for the downside. Evo, yep, I hope that was useful. I hope you found it useful. Yes, so yeah, guys, in general, I hope you found it useful. In general, the whole video, I hope everybody found it useful. Thank you very much for joining in and watching till the end. I really appreciate your time, guys. I really do. So thank you very much, and I hope you'll have a fantastic trading day today. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. And of course, don't forget to have a fantastic weekend. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.